Good morning, Steve. How you doing?
Outstanding, David. Beautiful Monday morning. Very excited today.
Oh, yeah? And why is that?
I got to say, and thank you, David. Thank you so much for letting me choose our guest this week, because almost 3 years of doing this, I've been dying to have one of my mentors to come into this industry. This guy's been doing it forever, and he's influential, and really it brought to light a lot of things about how we can fix an industry. So I would personally like to welcome our guest today. We have Mr. Ryan Fleming. He is a partner over at JGS Insurance, as a matter of fact, and just a wealth of knowledge. Ryan, thanks for being here.
You got it. Anytime. Pleasure.
So can you tell us a little bit about you and how you got into community association insurance?
Absolutely. Well, I'm not sure anybody ever picks it. I think it's bestowed upon you. So I got into it when I was real young. I got into insurance just by happenstance. And then this niche kind of presented itself to me. And it's been about 21 years of doing the same thing. It's been a wild ride.
What keeps you here? What's the drive? Is there something that you can accomplish? I mean, how do you do it?
Yeah, I like that question. I like that question a lot because, to tell you the truth, insurance is probably the most misunderstood industry in the world. At the end of the day, the insurance industry is the industry that puts you back together when you've had your worst possible situation happen. And for some reason, it's got a bad rap. So I think the main influence that keeps me in this industry is to educate people as to how to deal with this complicated industry and how to best prepare for your worst possible situation.
Now I know why he's one of your mentors, Steve. Now, question for you regarding this past years that just happened. 2023 is, just about to finish. This is one of our last episodes of the year. How would you describe this year in the insurance world out of the 21 years that you spent in there?
So this is by far the most difficult market that I've ever experienced. Probably most people have ever experienced. It's been a hard market for a longer time than has been recorded in the past. So dealing with that hard market, specifically when we're focused on property, that's what our niche is, and insurance is a property-based niche. That's the portion of this industry that's experiencing the most headaches. So it's been probably the hardest year of my career.
Why is that? Like, what are the, I don't know. Can you give us like 2 or 3 reasons? Snapshot?
Yeah, for sure. So, a lot of us remember movies like The Big Short. We remember when the mortgage crisis happened in 2008, movie makers sensationalized what happened. It was a tough thing that happened. Well, something similar happened in the insurance industry, specifically the property side. There weren't any movies made about it, but something pretty similar to that mortgage crisis where capacity and leverage was a little bit exceeded. And now we're dealing with the fallout of that.
No kidding. That's, there's some nuts and bolts and some stuff that can't be really easy to understand for a lot of people. And I got to tell you, on the show, we don't talk about insurance a lot. We talk about the industry as community associations, but you touched on property insurance. That's a big part of community associations, what we do. But so for those associations, for the HOAs, the condos, the co-ops, what can they expect? Like, how can they deal with what's going on in the insurance industry?
Well, I think the first way to deal with it is to realize that you can gain control of your insurable future. I think most people out there assume that it's completely out of their control and there's some magic wand that creates the pricing, and that's just not the case.
So as brokers, as people, as insiders who actually do understand how it operates, how do we fix it?
So I think it's education really is the key. Education and understanding that we can give to our clients. I mean, it's a complicated industry. It really is. There's a lot that goes into where pricing comes from. But if we can simplify those concepts and then get those concepts clear in the minds of our buyers, well, I think we've done our job. I think we've then given those buyers the power to actually make decisions that work best for them.
Now, how do you make it simple? How do you control your price of insurance?
I mean, this is going to be a long episode if we get into that.
Just a little bit. Just, give us some takeaways for that.
So first things first, it takes a long time to affect change. All right. So anytime the insurance industry looks at a risk, they're looking at it in a long-term focus. So it's going to be 5 years at least that they're going to look at in terms of history. So if you're not looking at your own history in the same microscope, which is a 5-year microscope, well, then how could you make decisions that would affect any change? So you really got to zoom out, take a look at yourself over the last 5 years and make a plan that may or may not take the same amount of time to implement in order to make sure you're insurable in the future.
Looking ahead, just one piece of advice for any association.
Number one, if we don't plan, well, then what are we doing? We got to have a plan of action in order to be able to act on that plan and put ourselves in the position that we want to get to. We never tried to go anywhere our entire lives without knowing the destination, right? You don't just get in your car, start driving around, and then think of a place you want to be. You get in your car because you you have a destination. Well, I think as a buyer of insurance and as a broker too, you should first put that plan together with an intended destination. That plan should be on paper. There should be time constraints, milestones, and checks and balances to make sure that you're actually going to get to your intended destination. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, because if it doesn't fit on the piece of paper, it ain't never gonna fit or happen ever in real life.
Okay, I'm interested. I'm going to bite on this one. How do we develop a plan like that?
I mean, it's together. I think it's collaborative. You know, if we don't, there's nobody out there that has a special plan that works for everyone. There's nobody out who's got a piece of paper that says, if I just had that piece of paper, if I had known about that 12 months ago, my premiums would be lower. That's just not the way it works. It's a collaborative approach where everybody gets in the same room. They share some perspective and some ideas. And at the end of the day, you come out of it with a bunch of people that agree on a destination and a means by which they're going to get there. And that might look like meetings and data and inspections and all sorts of different things.
So you're telling me that there's things that we can do as a community to help improve our future insurability, which is our situation, our community as a whole, right?
For sure. If an association takes a long time to get into a high premium situation or a situation where they've got a lot of losses that are going on, it took a long time to get there. So to assume that there's some quick and easy Band-Aid fix that gets you out of it in an instant is a little bit short-sighted. I think what you got to understand, if it took you 3, 5, 10 years to get in this hole that you're in, I think what you got to do is take a step back and say, how long is it going to take me to get out of this thing for the long term? And that's where you got to sit down and make that plan.
Okay. Love it. So there is light at the end of the tunnel. There are things that we can do, but I guess really we need to understand those concepts first as to why we're in the situation we're in as a community before we can start to get out of it.
For sure. I think if we're gonna have anxiety over getting through something quickly or getting out of a problem quickly, that anxiety doesn't help the situation. What you want to do is you want to take the live hand grenade out of the room, that is the effective date, and start having conversations without any timeline in front of you. Just say, we've got time to discuss this. Let's make some changes.
I love it. So Ryan, thank you so much for coming onto the show. We're coming up into our own time constraint here, and just wanted to check in with you. You said 2023 was a hard year, tough market. What would be the one word that you look 2024 to be? The mic is yours.
Let's start over. That's 2024. Let's start over and let's do exactly what we've just been talking about during this entire Car Chat episode. Let's just take a step back from what we're looking at and try to make a plan to get through 2024 on purpose, so that when we talk again in December during Christmas, we can say we've reached our destination.
Outstanding. I love it. We like to give our guests an opportunity to share with our viewers somebody who may have been influential in their career. Could be a charity, could be a mentor. I've already shared that Ryan has been very influential in my career and given me some hope that I can actually make some changes and improve the industry. But Ryan, how about you? Like who put you here? Like who's helped you in your journey and inspired you to inspire others, really?
Oh man, that's a long list, Steve. I like the question. It's a real long list. I have to say, what do they say? It takes a village. So there's not that one person. The guy that got me into this whole thing is Vinny Hager. Of course, he's been a foundation block for me throughout this entire time. You always have to thank mom and dad. There's no question about that. And listen, I'll shout him out because he's been a strong mentor of mine. But Gary Vaynerchuk, that's my guy. He's one of the guys that helped me get through a lot of the struggles where you're sitting in front of a decision and you just can't make that decision. And he helps you get to a point where you feel confident to make it.
No kidding. Shout out to Gary V. I hope Gary V actually gets to see this episode. That'd be great.
It will be pretty good. So Gary, if you repost this episode of Car Chat to your network. And in the meantime, we hope you have a good rest of the year. The end's coming up quick, and we'll look for a brand new start over 2024. Is that what you said, right?
Yeah, let's start fresh.
Start fresh.
Thanks again, gentlemen. What a 2023. Let's look forward to 2024. Thank you guys, and we'll see you again soon on Car Chat.
See you soon.